Hello, everyone, and welcome to Backchat. Welcome to Yogaberry, your yoga for scoliosis community. My name is Christine Jareggiberry, and I'm a yoga teacher, and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis. And I do this live stream every single week, and some of you are already joining me live now every week, which is amazing. So if you are here live, then feel free to type in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know if you have any questions. And I am saying we today because I am with someone here today. So I am interviewing Caroline Freedman, and she has written this fabulous book. I was talking about it a little bit last week, and it's called the Scoliosis Handbook, and it's about exercising. She is a personal trainer, so exercising pre and post surgery. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So let's bring her on. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, Christine.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for chatting with me today. I know you're a busy lady.
Thank you for inviting me on.
Yes, and you have actually been on this show before, haven't you? And you've shown us some fabulous exercises. So some of you might remember Caroline, or maybe you want to go back to that chat as well afterwards because there are some really good things in there as well. But I thought today, why don't we talk a little bit more about your book and how it kind of came about that you started to write this book and finished it, obviously as well. And I think when did it come out again? It was earlier this year.
The day before lockdown.
The day before lockdown, yes. That's right, that's right. Um, so yeah, tell us a little bit about this. Why did you write the book? Why did you think it was important?
I was asked by Elizabeth Board from Stanmore Orthopaedic Aspire Gym in Stanmore, Middlesex, if I would write the book. And she was having problems trying to access any information on what you can and can't do when you have a scoliosis fusion. And she's she's a nurse actually, but she's also a personal trainer at Aspire, specializing and head of cardio in the gym. And she was having trouble with clients of hers who had cardio problems and also had spinal fusions. And she really didn't know what she could or couldn't do safely. So coincidentally, I had met her years ago and had written some points for Stanmore Orthopaedic for their gym, but they lost them. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked if I would write a book, which I wasn't really prepared for when I met her because I just thought she wanted me to write down a few points. But she asked me to write a book. And so that's how it all came about.
Excellent. Yes, and it is so okay. They're all saying now they can hear us both, so that's fine.
Good, thanks,
Um,
good.
so I'm just gonna hold it up again. This is you, obviously, on the front cover there, isn't it? And is
Yes,
that your X-ray?
so that's my first surgery, and that's my X-ray superimposed over the top of the photo.
Yes. So tell us about it. This looks like the kind of the old style Harrington rod type of fusions. Is that right?
Yes, because I'm very old.
That's not what I meant, obviously.
So I had that surgery. I'm 54 now. I had that surgery when I was 20, and yes, so that's how 34 years ago that I had that surgery.
Okay. So you had this. You were saying your first surgery, isn't it? So there's obviously there were some more after this, isn't it?
Yes, I've had three.
Three
So that
surgeries.
was my first surgery,
Hmm.
and yes, that was done 34 years ago. I had 5 ribs removed at the time and used for a fusion to fuse my thoracic, and then I had my rib cage was actually the center of it was sort of centered down my left breast really, so there, and now it's here, So they moved it around. So the whole thing was twisted and then rotated. If that may, I know people watch me with my hands, but I don't know if you can kind of get that movement. And that was really what I looked like.
Yeah.
So I had the ribs taken off and used for grafting, and then the rib cage straightened out.
Right. So quite a big thing, obviously, isn't it? And quite an invasive surgery. So how come you had to have another surgery afterwards?
Wow. And that sounds really stupid now. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was showing off in an exercise class, put my arms up, went back, which I won't demonstrate, obviously, into a full back bend.
Right.
Which, of course.
So we call this the wheel pose in yoga. I think that's what you did, isn't it? And dropping back, like, and gymnastics, obviously they do this as well. And then it snapped?
It snapped.
Okay.
So I had to have it. Well, actually, it snapped, and I was told some people live with a snapped rod because the scar tissue can actually grow over that.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was having pains down my legs, and I think that I was so mentally freaked out with the fact that I had a broken rod in my back that, looking back on it, rather than giving it a few months and just sitting with it for 6 months maybe, I had one day where I was in a traffic jam and my legs started having a lot of pain and I couldn't really move my legs at the end of the journey. And I just got home and my mum called the surgeon up, and the next thing I knew, I was back under having surgery again. He said, "Oh, come in tomorrow, we'll open you up." And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting. I have actually seen some snapped Harrington rods as well, and not always because of them doing something extreme. But yeah, it can definitely happen, isn't it? But I can imagine that this is something like, oh, you have like these two pieces of metal now in your back. You kind of want this to be fixed, obviously. So
yes.
then you had your second surgery.
I'm just going to show you, actually. I've got a picture here.
Okay.
If anyone wants to see, here we go. You can see it's in my book, but I'm not sure if that's coming up well. It's kind of, if you can see there,
on the left, yes.
I move it that way, that's better.
Okay, that's the snapped one. Yes, we can see that.
There we go. I've got it upstairs.
Good.
It's given to me as I woke up.
So they took that out, put a new one in.
They put two in.
So then they put so I'll just bring up the one, something like this. Is that right?
Like this. Let's find it. A double one. It's not. Is it? No, it was. I don't think you can see it on here. It was two little ones. Move it that way. Sorry.
Okay, two little ones. Right. Okay.
There we go. Can you see?
Yes, I can see. So yours is really in the thoracic spine, isn't it?
Yeah. So they took out the long rod, put those in, and took another rib off, and used that. And because the others had grown back at that point, I was young. They grow back when you're young. So I had that surgery and I lived with that until 4 years ago when I had a third surgery. And I had the third surgery because my spine had, if you've got the transverse processes on the side, my back had rotated around.
Right.
So when I was sat on a chair, so they call it, it's not a very nice word, and there are lots of not nice words they use for scoliosis. It's shark back, to be crude about it, because it's like a shark. So that's what was leaning against a chair or on the floor, and that was really uncomfortable. And I was just, it was just I was just very uncomfortable. Two of my ribs should have been taken off. I should have had 7 taken off. I shouldn't have had the last 2 left, because what they were doing was, the others were further in from being pushed in with my brace after the surgery,
Right.
and the two little ones at the bottom were left sticking out.
Okay.
So they were also rubbing. So if I was doing abs, for example, I was doing crunches, I would just be balancing on those ribs, so they get quite sore.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter actually went to see a surgeon for her scoliosis. She wore a brace, she didn't need surgery. But I got talking to the surgeons, and that sort of put me on the path to, oh, I can have something done about this. And I chickened out of the surgery twice. And then I just decided, right, that's it. I can't wait. And it was the best thing I did. It was life-changing, really.
Right.
I could go and sit in a chair in a restaurant without having to scan the room and just check out I still have to an extent, but rather than walking out certain restaurants where I just knew that if I sat in those chairs, I'd be in pain the next day. Sounds crazy, but I couldn't go on a plane in economy for more than 3 hours. So that's quite limiting, because if you want to go anywhere that's further than Europe, it's really expensive. So but for me, it was like, well, I'd rather not go on holiday somewhere amazing, because I'm going to get there and feel awful. So
It's
forget
not
that.
worth it.
So, yeah, it's not worth it. So there was all just little stupid things, like going to the theatre and having to sit for such a long time in, let's say, one of the old-fashioned theatres, really small seats, and just sitting there thinking, I need to twist, but I can't twist, and I'm going to be annoying to people behind me, and I'm just a fidget, and So it was a good thing to do.
Yes. Oh, I lost you there.
Sorry, no, it's coming back. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It's always a thing on the iPhone and a call coming through. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm just checking who's here. Tatiana is here. She said she's going to listen later. Excellent.
Thank you.
I'm just glad that all the audio is obviously working now, which is great. So Talas, let's talk about recovery then, because obviously you've done it 3 times coming out of, so you're kind of an expert on this. How long? I mean, you were really young when you had your first surgery, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
How was the recovery, and how long until you could just kind of go back to exercise? Were you quite into exercise before you had your surgery, or was this? Yeah, you were. So you were quite active.
Yeah, I mean, I was found when I was 15 by my best friend, and her mother was an exercise teacher. It was in her mum's exercise class. So I've been exercising since I was 14. I wasn't particularly sporty at school. I must have been the only netball captain who wasn't in a team, just for a laugh. I wasn't sporty.
Right.
But when I went to exercise classes, I just loved it. And I loved all those mad, in those days, crazy high impact aerobic classes. And so I was very into fitness, and I was told by my surgeon, if the fitter you stay, the less likely you are that you're going to have surgery.
Right.
So I was really very fit for all my surgeries, and I was told, so that if we first of all talk about the recovery, the one thing I can say, when you have a spinal fusion, I can't speak for other surgeries, I would say listen to the doctor, listen to the surgeons, and listen to what they say you can and can't do. People that I knew that took liberties, they ended up back in the hospital, they ended up having maybe something not quite right, their recovery was slightly different. I really, really listened, and I didn't do anything early. I waited.
Okay. So what does that mean? In terms
so
of time.
If you're told, for example, for 6 months you can't do any exercise, don't do any exercise. If they say to you just walk, and you can just walk and swim, just walk and swim until you're told that they feel that you're okay. The surgeon feels you're okay to go and do everything. Listen to the guidelines; they really do make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you're all kind of signed off. Your surgeon says you're kind of you're ready to go. what would you say? How do you get started?
Right. Well, usually you're told to start walking first and get a bit of strength up. So each day, and they'll tell you that anyway, straight after surgery, they're likely to get up and walk. So let's say, so you've been walking, I think the recovery time now anyway is, my third surgery wasn't a full spinal fusion, it was a correction.
Yeah.
So it's not the same as starting from scratch, but now they do like people to exercise not much faster, so you don't have to wait as long. I would say start with your walking, maybe go in the pool and do some swimming. It's really excellent, but be careful with your head. What you don't want to be doing is, if you imagine that this is your body and this is your head, the last thing you want to do is have your head up in the air and have to put your face in the water, which a lot of people don't like doing.
Right.
But that's otherwise you can shorten the muscles in your neck. You're going to get neck ache. It's horrible, and shoulder ache.
Breaststroke, maybe not.
Well, no, I do breaststroke. Breaststroke's fine. You just put your head down. Because when I do front crawl, I end up going diagonal. Right. I can't go straight because I don't know about anybody else, but if you just watch my arms, so my rotation here is pretty good. However, when I try to rotate on my right side and I come here, I then get stuck here and I have to come up.
Right.
And what that means is when you're swimming, you bang into everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
Same with back crawl. So it depends. If you're in the water on your own, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really interesting. That's a really good point, isn't it? Whereas, somebody without a fusion would obviously compensate somewhere else in the back to be able to do that movement. But because you have that fusion, you can't, obviously.
Yes. So I operate what I call exercise allergy awareness. So it's exactly how you treat an allergy. You start reintroducing, let's say, new foods. So you start with one exercise. You do a couple of reps with low weights or no weights. You wait 2 days. If you don't have any pain, you know that exercise is fine for you. Then you start and you add that exercise plus another one. The same thing. Wait a couple of days, see if you're fine. If you're fine, add the third exercise. And that's how you build your exercise program. And then as soon as rather than doing 6 new exercises and you go home from your training and you're in pain, but you don't know what's caused you the pain, this way you'll know exactly what has triggered any pain and you'll know to avoid it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It may be because you haven't been doing it correctly. It may be because the way you're standing hasn't been correct, the way you're holding yourself, or it may just be that you just can't do that and it's just not for you. But then that way you alleviate and you stop yourself going down the path of, well, I'll just exercise and do that anyway. You'll just, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always say this to my clients as well. I'd rather you do less and really focus on these things rather than do like 20 different things and then you don't know which one was actually the problem.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So have you got something that you can show us?
I have, yes. Sorry, my window, it's very warm here. Yes, I have. So I've got 3 exercises I'm going to show you.
Okay.
This one is really easy. It's with a band. So if you don't have a band at home, but by the way, these are available on the physio room, and they're not very expensive. I think they're either £3 each or 12 for a pack of 4, and you get a blue, which is the hardest, good for stretching, a red, and there's a green, and there's a yellow is the easiest.
Okay. Physio Rooms is the website.
Physioroom.com. And I think postage and packaging with the whole thing is about £14-15 once you pay for postage. So not crazy expensive, but if you don't want to do that, just go and get a pair of tights from your drawer and use those. Anything that's got some kind of elastic, pair of leggings even.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you can. Oh, no, I'm not sure. I'm going to see if I can tilt this.
And Caroline is sitting on an exercise ball, isn't it?
I
can see you bouncing sometimes.
Oh gosh, no. Yes, I am.
Do you feel?
I find that comfortable.
Is that, yeah, I was gonna say, do you prefer to sit on an exercise ball generally?
Well, yeah, certainly when I'm doing a Zoom consultation, I
Okay.
find that much more comfortable than sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
Because I can move around, I can move around a bit on it, I can move my hips around,
Yeah.
I'm not static. I don't know how everybody else feels with all the Zoom that we've been doing, just having to sit. And what I would recommend, if you can get away with it, is popping some earphones in. And if you've just got a meeting that you've got to listen to, or even if you've got to take part, just go for a walk whilst you're on Zoom. I've started to do that training some of my clients, because I just cannot sit for hours and hours and hours training clients on Zoom and sitting there and staring at the screen. It kills you back.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about if you sit on your desk? Sorry, before we get into it, because people always ask about sitting. You know, I think that's it's a really
So I'm sitting on this.
Yes, yeah. So if you are doing computer work, for example, some admin, something like that, would you sit on a bouncy ball as well, or what do
I
you
sit
do?
on a bouncy ball, or else I will sit on a chair if I'm doing some admin. If I'm not comfortable on that chair, I'll put a cushion underneath my hips.
Right.
And that's what I would do. But I make sure I get up and walk around. You've just got to have breaks. And the only way sometimes you can get carried away and sit there and it's 2.5 hours and you haven't moved. And we've all done it.
Yeah.
And you just have to maybe set your alarm on your phone to say, get up, make yourself a cup of tea, just walk around.
Definitely, definitely. Good. So Diana is here. She's asking, would you go over the plank and bracing of the shoulders and raised buttock positioning?
Yes, I will.
You know what she's talking about then?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
Yes, I will.
Right. Over to you then.
Okay, so I'll start because I'm on the ball, and then we'll go down onto the floor for Danielle. Okay, so I'm going to show you this with the band, as you were talking before. I'm just going to bring the ball a bit further back in the room. So please tell me if you can see me.
Yeah, perfect. We can see
Okay,
you.
perfect. So stomach held in tight, arms up. This is for your lats, it's a great exercise, and also triceps. So pull out. So you're pulling out, out, out for 10. Then you can hold it for 10. And then 10 little bounces.
Right.
And then hold it. Come down, circle your shoulders, circle another way, circle again, and come up. Repeat it. So you're pulling out, out. And whilst you're pulling, if you note that my wrists are very, very strong, they're not dipped like this. You have to have the wrist very strong. Elbows are not moving. I'm just pulling. The next one is to come down to the upper chest and up. Straight up and come down, pulling out and come up. And again, you're using your lats.
Yeah. You can probably feel this across the chest as well.
The muscles at the back, around your back.
Yeah. So would you say that I mean, obviously, because there's parts of you that will not move like other people, would you say that it's really important to strengthen your legs and your shoulders, especially because they have to do a little bit more, maybe?
Well, I think the whole body has to be strong, and your legs should be strong. The whole body. The whole idea is the whole body is strong.
Yeah.
So you don't want an imbalance, and it depends. You know, my fusion is different to somebody else. Everyone will. People will listen to me today, and they'll say, well, either they'll say, yeah, that's a bit like me, or they'll say, oh, well, I'm not like that at all because my back is like this, and I can't do that. Or, for example, the way their shoulder blade is at the back. Maybe I can get my arms up quite symmetrically, but other people can't.
Yes.
So it's if that exercise is for you.
Yeah. So could you start maybe having the arms a little bit lower to begin with?
If you're bringing it lower, you're working your chest. So you want your arms up.
Right. You do want them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
okay.
You do.
Good.
Okay, so The
What do you
next
call this one?
exercise,
What's this one called?
it's a pull down with a band.
Okay, good.
Pull down with a band.
We're just making it up on the spot now.
No, I've got rid of the book. I can't remember what I called it in the book, but
Is it in the book?
I'm not sure that one is in the book actually.
I don't. Yeah, I think that's a different one. Yes,
It's a different
I'm gonna
one.
have a look. But yeah.
So the next one is in the book.
Yeah.
This is an exercise that John Rutherford, who is a physiotherapist and chiro and goodness knows what else, he's amazing. And he specializes in idiopathic scoliosis.
Mm-hmm.
So his favorite exercise for abs is as simple as this. You can do this with 2 bottles of water. You can do it with 2 weights, and you can do it with just with your fists.
Right.
So with a fusion, I always say, you know, my surgeon said, don't go over 5K. Don't lift over 5K. Again, that's it. So you, like I said, with the fist or with 2 kilogram weights are fine. So I'll show you with the weights. So you would sit on your chair or on your ball, or even standing.
Yeah.
However you like to do it. And it is literally trying to move your hands as quickly as you can, which it looks a bit weird, I know, and it feels a bit weird, but it's actually quite hard to hold your stomach in and keep your core absolutely still. I don't know if you're trying that at home or not, anybody, but literally just.
So you're sitting for this?
I'm sitting. I just put the weights down. I'm sitting and I'm literally
just moving around.
Just moving my arms, my hands as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
And try and do it for a couple of minutes. It's actually harder than it looks.
Mm. Yes, because otherwise you're just kind of all over the place. You're trying.
It's a really good one. If you've got somebody who is starting with abs, or who is very limited with what they can do, and isn't as able, let's say someone like me, to do a stomach exercise, then that's a really good one.
Mm. Yes, great. Thank you for this one. We call it the Rutherford exercise.
John Rutherford. Yes, it is. That's in the book.
Okay.
And then the other exercise before I show the plank, I'm trying to put these weights back. Now, I'm a big fan of the TRX. I'm a sports medicine qualified as well with them. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with this piece of equipment. It was designed by an American soldier. It's basically tent ropes. This is amazing. These you can buy these on the internet. It's called TRX.
And it's not actually that expensive, is it? I did look into it.
Crazy. It's not. I mean, it's expensive for what it is, but it's not crazy compared to the gym equipment out there.
To gym equipment, yes.
I think they're about £140, something like that. So not bonkers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got this attached. You can't see it, but it's attached to. I've got steel in the wall, and it's attached to a piece of metal bar.
Yeah.
But there is an attachment that you put it over your door.
Right. Okay.
So then you can just put it back in the cupboard, and it's a gem. Can you see me?
Yeah, can see you.
Can.
So this looks like water skiing.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, if only. So what you do here is you bring your feet a little bit forward. You make sure the ropes are taut. This is for your lats. It's fantastic, this exercise, and it's great for beginner because you can make it as easy as you like by bringing your feet, so you can see my feet back, and then coming forward. And you just let yourself go and come up and squeeze your lats together. That's your back muscles.
Yeah.
And then come out, and then squeeze, and then out, and then pull yourself up. And that's a beginner. There's so many things this piece of equipment can do.
That's a great one. I
So we
like that.
start off with maybe 8 or 10 of those, and as you want to progress with this, you just come further down.
Further down.
A lot becomes a lot harder.
Good. That's a good one. Right.
And I wanted to see the squat. Sorry, not the squat, the
plank. Yes.
Right, so if you'll bear with me, I'm just going to put this on the floor.
Yeah.
So that I can get the right. Hopefully you can see all of me in here.
Yes, that's what we're learning with Zoom, right? We're forever positioning our cameras now and trying to have the best.
I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to try another angle. Can you see me? No.
I can see you. I can see your shoulders and I can see your legs. I couldn't see your head, but I don't know.
Right. If you'll bear with me, I'm just going to swing some equipment out of here, and I should be able to put the.
Just changing the angle, and there you can see all of Caroline's wonderful gym equipment that she has. She's got it all basically.
Right, let's hope you've got enough room here now. Is that better?
Yes, I think that's better, yeah.
Yes? Okay. Right. So, that's the plank. Slightly raised hips. You never want to dip your hips.
Okay.
Put too much pressure on the lower spine.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got fusion all the way down the thoracic because of the way that the spine doesn't bend. So I'm sucking my abs in. You engage far better anyway when your hips are slightly raised.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also pull in your internal muscles as well. And you can see my elbow is stacked underneath my shoulder. So I haven't got much room here. I don't have my arms out here, which was too much stress on the shoulders.
Right, okay.
So you want to be directly underneath. Can you see?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the same thing, if you're going on to a high plank, same thing. Always have your shoulders stacked directly over your wrists.
Mm-hmm.
And slightly again, raise up. And if you do have backache and you're having pain in your back, make sure you're even higher.
Yeah.
But just
absolutely.
avoid at all costs dipping your back or having it flat straight.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, you're in the gym, they're all into getting their backs flat. I'm just going to put you back into position.
Good, thank you for that. So Diana, let us know if you're still here, if that was what you wanted to know, and if that makes sense. Okay, so Diana's saying, what is happening with shoulder blades? Shoulder blades are braced to the sides. With the shoulder blades are braced to the sides. Not quite sure what she means. Do you?
Do you mean shoulder blades braced to the side? So if you're up in your plank, we go to the side here. I'm just standing up, sitting down now. If you're up here, your shoulder, well, you haven't got your shoulders rolled. They're quite solid. They're directly over your elbow.
Yes.
So you're like this. It's right. This is right angle.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to avoid when you're doing a plank is having your arms too high up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stress here. And then my shoulder blades. I'm not quite. Do you have? Can I ask? Is it Danielle?
Diana.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Diana. Do you have a fusion?
Yeah, Diana. Let us know if you have a fusion, or maybe you've got a thoracic scoliosis and have a asymmetry. I'm wondering if that is what she means.
That will make it, yeah, because that will make a difference to my answer. because mine doesn't move.
Yes. And I think this is important, I think, as well, because obviously in my videos, and I don't have a spinal fusion, in my videos, my videos are usually addressed to people that haven't had surgery and where we address the asymmetries. Now, when you have a spinal fusion, obviously you will have to work a little bit differently, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not saying my spine doesn't move, but my shoulder blades obviously they do move. The shoulder blades do move. So when you're bringing your arms up or you're bringing your arm forward, of course the shoulder blade glides up and down. But when you're in the plank, it should be
just stable.
Just there, just stable.
But do you? So sometimes, obviously, if there is even after fusion, if there is still an asymmetry there, would you then say to really try and keep that shoulder back?
Yes. Well, you want to try and have your shoulders as square, and when you're doing a plank, you're also after. If you imagine having lovely posture when you're sitting up, you want to have that same posture across your chest as when you're doing a plank as well. So what you don't want to be doing is you sometimes see people, they're doing a plank like this, and I can demonstrate that again if you like, but I don't want to damage myself. but you'll see people like kind of like this, and they're all hunched up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about when people do a hunch, when people do a plank and they haven't opened out their chest?
Collarbones wide, isn't it? Okay, so Diana's saying no, I have right thoracic, left lumbar, but heard that it's important to have shoulders braced or pulled out to the sides. Pulled out to the sides. The way I talk about it is pressing the floor away from you.
Yes.
So protraction, and the shoulder blades will move that way, isn't it? They will move out to the side.
Yes.
That's probably what you mean. That gives you a lot more stability. Absolutely.
Yes,
rather than
what you want to do.
into it.
Yeah, I think also maybe this will help. When you're doing a plank, you want to, exactly as Christine's saying, you want to press down with your forearms onto the floor. You want to avoid sinking into your shoulders sinking in. Does that? I'm doing this funny movement, but do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So if you push up, you're supporting yourself. You're supporting your the upper body. So the shoulders feel strong, but not like up to your ear.
Not up, but we're also not kind of doing this either.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
So if you've got lovely posture, but you're doing a plank and you want to hold that posture, so you're going to push with your hands down, so that your body's up and you're nice and solid, and you feel very much in control.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing I would say is this whole thing about holding a plank for ages. Hold it as long as you feel comfortable. You're better off to do a plank for 8 seconds, 6 seconds, than try and hold a plank for 30 and your body's all over the place.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I also wanted to ask you, so you're obviously, I think you saw my webinar with Dr. Fishman as well, didn't you?
Yes.
And the side plank thing. And I know that you actually, after that webinar, I think you got in touch with him and spoke with him as well, isn't it?
Well, I tried. Yes, I got something back. Basically, if you have a fusion, do not try that method, because he just said you'll break.
Is that how you said it?
That's what he said. You'll break. In my book. I mean, the exercises can be adapted. If your physio is saying to you, "I want you to strengthen up your left side or your right side," you can do that. But generally, I've aimed, and I really thought long and hard about it. I've aimed at being symmetrical and with a fusion, and trying to do as much on the left as you do on the right. But like I said, it can be adapted. But what you were talking about with holding those side planks, if you've got a fusion and you hold the side plank and you do that whole trying to change the curve, your back's not going to move because it's fused, so you can't correct it. It's been done. That's it. What you can do, and what I've seen with if you're still a bit self-conscious about your back, is quite often the muscle can get into spasm on your back. I've actually had a massage by somebody where we've taken a photograph at the start, because she used to keep saying to me, you know, your muscle's gone down. I said, has it gone down? She said, okay, next time I'm going to take a photo. So she took a photograph of my back, gave me a massage. She used to work at Spinal Orthopedic as well. Gave me a massage, and then took a photo, and it was unbelievable. I'd literally gone down, must have been 2 centimeters, where this muscle had been in such spasm that it was raised up on my spine.
Right. Yeah.
So that's, you know, that's something to think about.
Yes. So there's definitely, so even though the spine is fused, the soft tissue, the muscles, everything around it will still have an imbalance, isn't it? It doesn't go away, even if you have your spinal fusion. So massaging is really good. That's what you're saying, isn't it? To release some of that, and then obviously listening to your physio if they give you specifically something asymmetrical, but otherwise work on strengthening.
I would be really careful playing around with that sort of thing yourself once you've had a fusion.
Yes.
Anyway, I'd be careful. Just really, unless you really understand what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. Good. So Diana is saying, yes, that's clearer. Thank you so much. I understand the plank better now. So
I'm so pleased. How good.
Good. Lovely. So tell us a little bit about the course. So you've written the book that's out, but now you designed a CPD course. So tell us a little bit more about this.
Yes, it's a course based on the book, but it will, especially for physiotherapists, for personal trainers who don't necessarily know that much about exercise and spinal fusions, or even just scoliosis without a spinal fusion. This course is designed to give it's not a qualification, it's a CPD course. It's 8 points, and it's endorsed by SimSpa and the YMCA as well, and you gain 8 SimSpa points, which if you're a trainer and you have to do continual learning, you need 10 points a year. So it's quite a lot of points for the amount for the course. It's a lot of points, just because at some courses you have to do a lot more work to get 8 points, but because we cover quite a lot of their requirements, they were really happy with it.
Great.
It's the only course, as far as I know, of its kind. It will give a good grounding of the anatomy, and it will also show the trainers and the physiotherapists what they can and can't do. So what exercise they cannot do, can't give their clients. The other thing is anyone can do this course, even though if you want the points, it's great for if you're in the industry. But also it's really good if you've got a scoliosis, you've had a fusion, and you just want to find out a bit more and find out what's okay, what isn't. There's an online course as well, so you can just do it online. The beauty of the Zoom face-to-face is that you'll meet other people who've got probably the same as you, and you'll be able to share experiences, or there might be some tips that somebody has got that you hadn't thought about that would help. And then it's got 2 workshops, one for exercises and one for stretches. And then there is a test, multiple choice test as well.
And you get something at the end?
You get a certificate at the end.
Yeah.
The course includes the book, so you would get a voucher from Amazon sent to you to use to purchase the online copy, or if you want the hard copy, you can just use the money to put towards the hard copy. Or if you've already got the book and you want to do the course, then just keep the Amazon voucher.
Yeah.
So you buy something else.
You can buy a different book.
So I don't know, lots of us are in to get a present a day from Amazon at the moment. So,
That's it, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
It's not wasted, is
so
it?
no, and the course is going to be taken by Christine, who is fabulous at speaking and explaining. So she's going to be
Thank
marvelous.
you.
I'm very excited about it.
Yes, so
And
it's yeah, I look forward to it. It's a nice collaboration, isn't it? Obviously, we have different experiences, and Caroline has been very much more formal of actually putting this into a book and actually designing a formal course. Um, and yes, I look forward to hopefully explaining this to people and yeah, build a little bit of community as well with those that have
yes,
spinal
and
fusion.
it's 2 mornings. It's a Saturday morning, 9 to 12:30
Yeah,
on the
let me bring it
28th of
up again.
November.
There we go.
And
So
then
these are the
Saturday
dates.
morning again, 5th of December, 9 to 12:30.
Lovely. Yes,
There
good.
you go. So
And
just go onto the web if you, to sign up. Go onto our website, please, and Christine will have the link anyway on all over her Instagram. And
it's
just
in the
sign up. Any
description of this
questions?
video.
Yeah, and any questions at all, feel free to contact either of us. It's pretty easy. There's an email there. You can just
Mhm.
contact me.
Lovely. Thank you. And I did put your Instagram handle there as well, so people can connect with you via your Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Um, yes, good. Anything else you want to share? Any kind of last words of advice for anyone
Um,
who's
I
got
tell you,
fusion?
well, yes. When I wrote this book and people read it, it's a very up positive book. When I had my surgeries, I just heard I had to have them, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to have to get on with it, and so I did. And it wasn't really until after I wrote the book and I started going onto social media that I saw how much scoliosis affects people
Hmm.
mentally, and it's probably affected me as well. And until now, I hadn't really looked at it or faced it or thought about it. But listening to other people and thinking, well, actually, I did feel a bit like that, but I just didn't want to say anything, or I didn't want to verbalize it. I just wanted to be, we're all called scoliosis warriors, and that's because we all are warriors because we're all strong, and we get through this and we get on with our lives, and
Yes.
we, everybody's really, is very positive. And I think, I felt very lucky to have the surgery,
Hmm.
extremely lucky. There was a little girl, must have been about 13 years old, that I saw on the ward before I went down for surgery. And her parents, she was from the Middle East, her parents in those days, they'd hidden her away. They'd finally got her some help, but by this stage, all they could do was stabilize the spine. But the scoliosis was so bad that her face had been affected.
Oh, wow.
And so we had two sides of her face, and one eye was here. I promise you, one eye was here, and her nose was here. She was a gorgeous girl. She learned English in 4 days. By the time I was up and walking around, I went in to say hello to her. She'd come back from her surgery, and I couldn't believe she could speak. She learned through the television. That was the moment when I thought, wow, I am just really lucky
Hmm.
to, we are lucky here to be able to be helped.
Yes. Yeah.
But I really, the mental sort of, the effects that scoliosis had, I hadn't really kind of faced them properly. And I think a lot of people are, and I think they're amazing, and they're on Instagram and really able to talk and also show their backs and their scars to people. I think that's really commendable. It's
Yes.
amazing.
So
Amazing.
important, isn't it? And
Mm.
you never know who you're helping and whose life this might change, just you talking about it, isn't it? And talking about your
Yes.
experience.
Mm.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that and for bringing this up. And yes, we haven't really talked about it that much now in this chat, but obviously it's a form of trauma, this going through a surgery, and physical and mental as well. So it's not to be underestimated, is it? And the effects of it afterwards as well.
Yes, I think they could probably do a lot more for the pre-care and the aftercare to help,
Yes.
especially with the younger girls, 15, 16, 17, those sort of ages, early 20s. I think that's,
Yes.
and the boys as well. And I think that would really help. I have a client of mine, to be very careful because of GDPR, but let's just say young client had the surgery, one physio session and goodbye, didn't have a clue. So for 5 years has not done anything. Was scared to exercise. So
Yes.
yeah. So it's the aftercare that we need.
It is important. Yeah, so Liz is saying, thank you, both of you, very informative. Hopefully Caroline's book is arriving for me tomorrow. So she obviously ordered
thank
it.
you. I hope you really like it. And any questions, you can always get in touch with me.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time, Caroline, as always. And yes, make sure you connect with Caroline via her Instagram, and then hope to see some of you on the course as well.
That'd be lovely. And thank you so much for inviting me on.
All right. Thanks.